Welcome to Trading Day, Day 7, brought to you by Maytronics. A tick over 24 hours before the deadline, and one of the biggest trades today, Fox Footy traded Nathan Buckley to the Geelong Footy Club for a future Cat retiree, as I welcome Jared Healy, Brad Johnson and David Zita. A big day for Nathan Buckley, who will be joining us shortly on this show to talk through that move to Geelong. But what an exciting moment for Nathan Buckley, who's been in the headlines about being coach of Melbourne, Tasmania, and now he's picked his mark.
Smart move, I reckon, by Bucks. Going back for a refresh. If he wants to go back into the jungle, I think go down there and learn from a program that has been at the top of the tree. I knew Mackie would come out with something. I mean, he pulls something out each and every time. Usually he waits till the last 5 or so minutes in Mackie time of the draft. He's gone early.
It's funny though, Jono, you've spent a lot of time down in Geelong. The IP just keeps getting bigger and bigger. Nathan, obviously a prized recruit here on Fox Footy, goes down there with some really good ideas.
Well, that's it. Stephen King out, and you get Nathan Buckley to come in, which is a huge get for the Cats. I think he'll be fantastic for the entire playing group. So it's huge.
Does he get one of those farms as well?
Don't worry, I've got a bed at home. He can jump in if he needs to.
Well, he will be joining us on the show a little bit later on, so stick around for Nathan Buckley. David Zita, let's bring you in. Today's deals, what's happened?
Well, we're all waiting for Essendon to finally get the deal done, and they have. So Braden Fiorini gets to Essendon for a future third-round pick.
Nice for you, Zita.
Thank you very much, John. Braden Fiorini gets there for a future third-round pick, of course, so he gets to his club of choice. There's been a pick swap as well between Brisbane and Collingwood, so 45 and 56 go to Collingwood. The Lions get 59 and a 2026 third-round pick.
Why would they do that?
Which is tied to Melbourne. That's tied up, I think, in a few more other deals that we might see get through tomorrow. Jack Bull is one of the players people have been speaking about. I think that might be one that helps just facilitate that. And then also Sam Edmund at SEN's reporting just a short time ago that Chankwath Jath has agreed to go to Melbourne on a 3-year deal.
Wow.
Now, a trade has to be done for that to happen, but we know, of course, CJ's name has been brought up in trade dispatches. So it looks like that is a deal that would get done, so he gets added to the
What a merry-go-round.
And CJ in.
Exactly.
Yeah,
so
that's right.
What do you think? I think it's a...
Well, I think so. Firstly off, I think the Fiorini deal's a good deal in terms of what he can produce. His back half of the season was very good. Played the 18 games in 2025, averaged 21 disposals. So this guy can find footy. He's quite experienced now in the competition with 123 games. So hopefully he fits in straight away at the Bombers.
It's all about opportunity. Like CJ, a bit of sub towards the back end of this year.
Yep.
He didn't get his opportunity, probably didn't have the form. Goes to Melbourne, fresh start, fresh coach, and Hawthorn in some way, and David Zita will probably be across this, some way that might play into the Zach Merrett based deal.
Tell me how, Zeets.
I'm not Tom Petrucci. I think his phone will be going mental lately. It does seem like official contact finally on the second last day of the trade period has been made between Essendon and Hawthorn to try and secure his services. We'll talk through that deal shortly, but him and Charlie Curnow...
How do you sit on CJ, though? I actually rate him as well.
I mean, he's an exciting player. Comes off the half-back line. They'll want to move the ball, though. Stephen King will be thrilled to get a ball mover and someone with some pace, which is absolutely... fantastic. So it's a win-win everywhere at the moment for him.
Zeets, let's talk about Charlie Curnow. Toured the facility. Pretty impressed after the tour by Dean Cox and presented extremely well. So that deal, where's that at right now?
Well, the facilities are obviously unbelievable at the Swans, so that certainly would have helped to get him to come on board. So he did meet with the Swans on Monday evening, toured the facilities. That went well. So I saw a Tom Morris report earlier today. The Swans are prepared to offer pick 11 next year's first rounder, Will Hayward and Ollie Florent. Oof. Now, the sticking point here, it appears, is a pick that Jack Silvani is going to net for the Blues as a compensation, which is pick 22. Now, it's been reported the Swans want that back as part of the deal. So I think that would probably be something Carlton would just get a bit upset about and would try and negotiate that pick 22 to be a bit of a later pick in the draft. But that on face value, so 2 picks, 2 first-round picks and 2 ready-made players, I mean, that's a pretty big deal for
Looks overs to me.
It's a big win for Carlton.
It's a win, yeah. And they always...
Overs, you reckon?
Overs. But they were always going to want overs. Graham Wright's clearly looking down the track. He's looking to implement some sort of restructure like he did at Collingwood. He's looking for overs. 22 brings it back a little bit in the Swans' favour. I think the Swans should be arguing strongly for 22 simply because right now Charlie's not going back to Carlton. I mean, he's not going back to Carlton. This deal is basically, it would appear to be done. Get your 22 and put this deal to bed.
They have played this well, though, Carlton, because the way they've messaged it, Charlie Curnow is ours, he's staying with us, he's a required player, but they've always left a bit of wriggle room for the right deal to come along, and it seems like Sydney, they haven't really mucked around. They've thrown their best punch, and it looks like it might be one that lands.
I think the players are right as well. Hayward's tough, right? And he can provide some spark as well, especially with defensively, with his run-down tackles. Don't underrate that. And Ollie Florent's just out of favour. This is a guy that plays 20-plus games a season consistently for your football club and has got some class as well.
He walks straight into Carlton.
I think he does as well in terms of what he can produce off half-back, let alone the standards he sets as a player with his training standards as well. So, yeah, he might be at the back end of what the Carlton people might think, do we really need a Florent or not? I think he'll be an excellent addition to your footy club if you get him.
That's a great point you make. Out of favour. He's seriously got some class about him. Buddy Franklin said, the only person I want to lead to is Ollie Florent because he can hit your lace out every time. But what does it do, Zeitz, and question without notice, what does it do for... Because Sydney's always been of that really strong culture. You lose two guys like that who have played a pivotal part over the last few years. Does it do anything for the group itself?
Well, I think when the deal gets done... It seems to be everyone tends to move on. If they get floated and then they don't end up getting traded and then they have to go back, that's when I think ripples start to appear. I'd be interested in your thoughts as former players, how this manifests inside the club. Because we know, of course, James Robottom was raised. His manager, Matt Bain, said no, he's not going anywhere. He avoided being put on the table. But Will Hayward obviously going, Ollie Florent, both with contracts. Do you think there's anything there that the Swans, that maybe Dean Cox just needs to keep an eye on in the future? Is there any potential, some grumblings?
Maybe there is some grumblings in the background. I think if Rowbottom had have gone, that would have been
heart and soul Rowbottom.
Yeah, that's it. And I'm not saying that these guys aren't, right? They've given everything that they possibly have. I think Florent needs the opportunity in another club because the coach obviously is going in a different direction with him. And Hayward's the interesting one here. And if he's of agreeance and wants a fresh challenge somewhere else, then there won't be any of that type of grumblings or rumblings in the...
I'm not sure why Will Hayward would be looking for opportunities. He was a staple for the Sydney Swans. How do you find it? I find it a really difficult concept. You can sign guys up for 5 years, 6 years, 1 year, and you're tipping them out 2 years. And I know the Swans are getting a fantastic player. Are we to assume that that's just the way footy is?
Well, I loved your comment that it was overs. So have they gone too hard too early, giving up two good players? It's really the landscape now. That's the way it is. You sign big deals and then you're unhappy, or you want to move, you want to find success. And then is it Sydney's case of, OK, we're just tunnel vision on Charlie. We need Charlie. We'll give up what it takes.
Sometimes you go to an auction, the bank says you got 1.5.
Yeah.
You put your hand up and it's $2 million, you got some problems.
Well, when you buy your seventh house like you, you're in problems with that. Don't get over your head, G. Is that what I'll say?
Tell me, how does the player managers cope with this and the conflict of interest when you've got three blokes all being swapped around?
That's one question I couldn't answer. I'm not sure. And Jono, you got Curnow, as we said, Hayward, Florent, all from the same manager.
Same camp.
Yep.
Same camp.
But then you've got also players that are currently in the lineup, like Amadi, McDonald and McLean, sitting there going, OK, well, where do I sit in the pecking order now if we bring a Charlie Curnow in? So, but I don't mind that competition.
What's the pecking order, Jono?
In terms of that?
Yeah. Well, Curnow's one.
Well, I think, absolutely. I think Amadi and McLean plays the second ruck and can play forward. McDonald may be in for a positional move in 2026. We wait and see. Okay.
David Zeta, this is the one I'm interested in. Zach Merrett. So Tom's Petro sitting right in the middle of this. Hawthorn have got to put up something pretty significant to get him across. Where's it at?
Well, he manages Brad Scott, Sam Mitchell and Zach Merrett, so that's also another one. It's a triangle, isn't it? So his phone would be going absolutely mental at the moment. So Hawthorn and Essendon have now engaged directly. Now, of course, it was all, I think a lot of it would have been going through Tom Petro during that phase that's lasted for just over a week. But I think Zach Merrett's reiterated it. He wants to be playing for Hawthorn next season. That's where he wants to be, and that's just something they're going to have to try and get done. But the Bombers have played just such a firm hand, especially since Andrew Welsh has come in to power there. So the reports this afternoon is that pick 9, a future first-round pick, and Henry Huswaite. That's the deal that's being put forward to the Bombers at the moment. The Bombers' official position is that nothing has changed from them. They are steadfast that Zach Merrett's a required player. He'll be there next year. I don't know. your opinion's the one that matters. Is that a deal that gets Essendon to at least think about it? Because it seems like the general consensus is it doesn't.
No, it's not. And Hawthorn need to play their strongest hand immediately. I think to change the opinion of an Andrew Welsh coming in now as president and speaking the way that he has in the strong fashion.
Can he backtrack though?
Well, no, I think he can a little bit. I think we all understand the fact that there may be a deal here that Essendon just go bang off the back of discussions internally with Zach Merrett over the last 24 hours as well, and his manager Tom Petroro. So you look at the Hawks. I think early tomorrow they need to go bang. This is our very best hand. Are we getting a deal done? Otherwise, I think the Bombers will have Zach Merrett walk back into their footy club.
They can't do it till 2 p.m. tomorrow.
At 2 p.m. You know what I mean? But
yes.
It needs to be straight up tomorrow as early as they possibly can.
You think they've got one more crack?
I think so. I think they've just got to play their best hand now. That's clearly not, and they need to do that.
Does it make a difference now that this week, Monday, he's met with the power brokers, Brad, and said, "Yeah, I do want to trade." That's different to 2 weeks ago where, I'm looking and the club have come out and said, you're not getting traded. Now their captain has come out and said, I want to be traded.
And it hasn't been an official trade request, so to speak, via the club's channels. It's been via journalists saying that Zach Merrett has reiterated to Brad Scott. He's reiterated to the power brokers. But in those reports as well, it said that Brad Scott said, we understand you want to be traded, but you're contracted, you're staying here.
Just going back to Curnow, is Geelong completely out of the Curnow deal, or has Andrew Mackie, who's just landed Buckley, has he got something up his sleeve for Mackie time?
They've been a bit too quiet, I think.
Yeah,
it's a bit concerning when it's this quiet. Yeah. They must have something brewing.
I'll just give you some of his recent form, Andrew Mackie, because he does delay.
You've got a graphic ready.
Oh, don't worry, he's had this ready for 2 days.
Yes, Jerry.
Bailey Smith with 35 seconds of play remaining. Ollie Henry, 55 seconds. He was a bit sloppy on Jonathan Segley. Got that one away early with the big one back in 2020. Jeremy Cameron, 12.5 seconds of play remaining in Mackie time. He still nailed the deal.
You love this, don't you? It just sets up beautifully, does it? Like, it's 7 p.m. cut-off, so you're saying from 6:50 tomorrow, it's game on for Mac.
So do they get both then? Do we go with a minute left? Do they get Curnow and Marshall into the door?
Well, Marshall is a dead set chance.
Yeah.
Even though I think St Kilda would be crazy to let him go.
Yep.
But they can't. Andrew Mackie, and he is a very good poker player. Even he admitted, speaking openly in his words on the opening day of trade period, that to get both of them in it'd probably be a bit of a stretch, even through their deal-making powers. So I think Rowan Marshall's the one we all think they've still got another crack at him. Yeah. Charlie Curnow would have to come from left field if they were to do something now, because Sydney's offer. I mean, I don't know how... And Geelong aren't willing to put any players up, they've said, because they're contracted, no one wants to leave, we're not sending anyone out. They've got really no bargaining power.
Speaking of ruckman, I know the Big O has retired. Is there any chance the Big O could just bob up from somewhere at 30 years of age? I know he's got a crook back.
Pretty banged up, G.
Pretty banged up?
Yeah.
Just wouldn't put him on the list?
Not like a Goldstein who could literally... keep going. Completely banged up.
Okay.
He was jumping through an enormous amount of hoops to get himself out on the park, particularly this season.
Can I just remind you, he played in the grand final 4 weeks ago. So he can't be that banged up.
Yeah, well...
Josh Dunkley played in the grand. His whole body's bandaged. He can barely move.
I understand that, but he's not retiring. I mean,
that's true.
If you had pick 61 left or thereabouts, why wouldn't you just say, listen, we'll just throw a dart at the dartboard and just see how the back pulls up after 6 weeks?
It's a potential conversation over the next 4 to 5 weeks leading into the draft and beyond that. You probably don't even need to worry about that. You could bring him in another way anyway. But ultimately, I think with Curnow, he's not wasting his time going to the Swans. If his management know exactly where it sits from a Geelong point of view. So I think it's more the Swans or nothing.
And a man who's not banged up is Nathan Buckley, who'll be joining us shortly on his way to the Cats as assistant coach. Cashed up? Bucks, you saying cashed up?
He's got a good gig at the Cats.
Oh, right. Oh, Zeets, have a look at his bank balance. Speaking of cashed up, he's going to be $1 million short, maybe at the end of this trade period, is Leek Aleer. So the Saints completely backflipped, which is a shock to the industry itself. North Melbourne have now said that they're out, so where does that leave him?
Well, it shocked Leek Aleer as well. So he's overseas holidaying at the moment, and his whole life's been turned upside down because he thought he had a spot to go to, and now he's just mid-air with no destination. So the good news is this wasn't left poorly with the Giants. That they love him, he loves them. It was a really difficult call for him to go to the St Kilda, even though they were offering him far more money. So there's an offer on the table for Leek to stay at the Giants, return there. Yes, he's going to find it hard to get into the senior side consistently. Nothing has changed there, but he will have an AFL home. If this was a bit more of if this was a messier parting of ways, there was a chance that he would just not have a home in 2026. So the Giants are a safe haven, I think, at this point.
What would get him? How much? He was reportedly going to receive 750, 800. What gets him?
Well, again,
Would he take 500 to go somewhere else?
Well, I don't think he's being... Yeah, I mean, the Giants' offer would be quite modest, I think, considering that they just weren't able to go any higher than they were. So I
What's
still
he worth,
think...
Jono?
Well, I think he's worth exactly what the Giants are going to pay him, because the competition aren't going to pay any more, and St Kilda will well and truly overs in regards to that. So I think he falls exactly in terms of a pay bracket where he should fall for the next 2 to 3 years, and then beyond that, he's got the time to be able to maybe get that next deal, which would be a St Kilda level type deal. So it's on him now. I think a 3-year deal is perfect. Sign it now, get your development right, and see if you can push your way into a potential, finals team.
He's not in the Giants' starting lineup.
But he could be. I think there's enough traits there for him to push his way up quite significantly in that Giants side over the next 12 months.
Turned up and he's in the car park.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, Nathan Buckley's going to join us shortly. And don't forget, tomorrow, the deadline day, trading day. Sarah Jones, David King, Lee Montagna and Johnny Ralph.
18.
Will we get a fast hour before the finish tomorrow with all the coverage from 7
They got a dolphin.
Fitting music, here I go again, Nathan Buckley. Fox Footy's Nathan Buckley, the coach of Collingwood. He's done some time, and what he's learned being at Fox Footy, we're going to find out shortly, because he heads down the highway to Geelong as an assistant coach. Excited to have you on the panel here for Trading Day, Nathan Buckley. First of all, congratulations. There's been... over the last 2 months, it's been enormous. You've been through a coaching panel for Melbourne. Tasmania's right in the mix, and now you've picked your destination as an assistant coach at Geelong. How's it feel?
Yeah, good. It's been pretty public too. I was just before I've run in from Alice Springs. I was up in Alice with my eldest for the last couple of days, so I've just wiped the red dust off and put a bit of makeup on. Give me a bit of running. I don't feel nude. But no, it's like I'm absolutely pumped. It's come together really quickly, just over the last week. Chris Scott reached out, pretty much 6.5 days ago, and put the concept forward, and we were able to cobble that together where you can straddle a little bit of media with a full-time coaching role. And potentially it's only Geelong that could have the paradigm or the foresight to do that. So I'm rapt about it.
One thing I want to ask you is, Chris puts it on the agenda. Did you jump straight at it and said, yep, I love the concept, I'm going for it? Or did you need time to go away, talk to Tasmania, because you're in pretty deep discussions there?
No, I needed to consider it. And like Geelong have been awesome about it. Chris Scott, Stephen Hocking, Andrew Mackie, the three main decision makers there. Firstly, it's a family decision. Where do I have to live, and where are the boys going to live in this next sort of 12 to 24 month period? I have to consider Tasmania and the prospect of that, which isn't guaranteed, but I'd still love to step into that. And then there is a financial consideration as well for everyone. To be able to, I don't know, pay the home loan, mate, as much as anything. But so I needed to consider all that, and it didn't look like it was likely in the first couple of days, but we were able to make it work.
It's a really smart move, I reckon, Bucks. Didn't come from you, but you accepted it straight away. If you're going to go back in and potentially get your hands back on the helm down in Tasmania, what better way to, I guess, reinvigorate yourself and re-educate yourself than down at one of the best programs in the country?
Yeah, I think that's right. I mean, in the end, when the opportunity was there and you've come to the realisation that you want to get back in, well, then you just get back in as best you possibly can. And when this opportunity came back, it's a no-brainer really. Once it's settled, and the fact that it is with a club that I've had enormous respect for over the longest period of time. They've been successful for a long period of time. I mean, I'm interested. I want to contribute, and I'm really looking forward to getting my hands dirty and working with the staff and the players, the club itself. But to actually sort of look under the bonnet of an organisation that's done it remarkably well over a long period of time, I'm going to be fascinated with that as well.
What does that look like for you then, sorry, Bucks, in regards to your role? Are you senior assistant? Are you looking after mids? How does it work with, your early conversations?
Yeah, no, Stephen King has come out of the midfield and gone to Melbourne. So I go nominally into that role. James Kelly and James Raleigh have worked in that assistant coaching group together with Chris. And I'm told a fifth guy who's a strong analyst that they lean on heavily. So that five-member coaching panel that basically, work out what needs to happen in terms of training, in terms of program, in terms of game plan, and how you want to build the team. So that's what I'll be a part of, and how that plays out, I'll be guided by Scotty, who is the leader, and I'm looking forward to working under him.
I'm intrigued, Bucks, because you could be the first ever assistant coach to still hold such a significant media
There'll be a lot
role.
of people looking at this and a lot of ex-players looking at this in particular.
And you mentioned it off the top. You couldn't do it with any other club but Geelong because they have such a tight ship down there, and the DNA and what they do down there mightn't work for other clubs, but you'll still have the ability to do on the couch and be an analyst with Fox Footy and in the coach's box. That's going to be an intriguing balance for you, isn't it?
Yeah, the dynamic will be very different. But I'll watch probably more football, even more football than I was watching sort of previously, and probably a lot more analytically than I was. Having said that, we put a lot of work into what we do to put the couch together and to be prepared to call games. So I'll still be doing forming and being a part of that the games, the broadcast, and of course with couch. But yeah, I'm not a shock jock. Like I haven't been, so I think I'm quite balanced in the way that I see the game, that I see the individuals within it. So I don't think I'm going to put my foot in it, and to the detriment of Geelong, which I suppose is part of the balance I need to find.
I'm intrigued because I spent a year with you at Collingwood. I know how you think about the game. A lot of respect for the way you look at the game, and I was excited when you came to Fox Footy. I thought we're going to get some really good, analysts' input. With that in mind, what have you learnt, you think, so far now? You've come out of coaching, you've gone into the media, you said there's a lot of work in couch, you look at a different angle. Do you think you're excited about the IP you can bring Geelong?
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, I think for everything that I hear, that Chris Scott is a unique individual with the way that he leads, very different to what maybe the cut and dried senior coach would be suspected to be. I really enjoy listening to him, and I think I know Scotty relatively. I love our football conversations whether they're on air or they're off air. I think he's tremendously intelligent and insightful with the way that he sees the game. So to be able to spend day in, day out with a guy like that and the rest of the football program is something that I'm absolutely pumped about. I'm a footy head. We all love the game. We all love the game. And it's been great to witness it from the outside in. But having decided I want to be back in the cut and thrust, I'm really looking forward to getting my hands dirty.
How are you going to go when Jack, Geordie, Lee at times and Brownie bring up Geelong stuff? So they will want an opinion from you. You will become protective of that, of course.
Yeah, look, I'll be absolutely respectful of the Geelong Footy Club and my role there. And that is my first role. That is my primary responsibility going into 2026. I don't think that, and I would never undermine or betray trusts with the football club. They're putting a lot of trust in me. But that's the dynamic that we all, when you're a part of a bigger group, a team, a club, you're absolutely committed to that. But I think I can walk and chew gum at the same time.
Did you ring Brendan Gale and discuss this with him before you accepted?
I did.
Yep.
I did. And my only question was, would the Devils frown at this, or would they think it was advantageous?
There's only one answer to that, sure.
And the answer was that there was no issue with it.
Yeah.
So, and once again, I've been really conscious of not projecting forward with that either, because nothing's guaranteed.
Yep.
Despite the fact that people will come and say that it is. But I know where that sits. and the Devils know where that sits. They've got a decision. They've got decisions to make, and their timeline is their timeline. This was a decision that, like, when you look at how far the Devils might be away, there's a gap there. So I can either tread water, doing the same thing I've done for the last 3 or 4 years, or I can school myself up, challenge myself in a different way, and be ready to go should the opportunity come.
Can I ask you to put your coach's hat? Let's say you gravitate to senior coach down at the Devils or anywhere else for that matter. We're in a really strange period of time. The game has evolved into this free-for-all with players on contracts and coaches on contracts, etc. And, the shopping of players around that are under contract. How does it go in the locker room when you've signed a bloke up for 5 years and all of a sudden you're saying, no, we need you to go? And we're seeing it up in the Gold Coast and we're seeing it in Sydney, etc. And I guess if Geelong landed Curnow, it would have to happen there as well. How do you deal with that?
Well, we're right in the midst of it, aren't we?
Yeah.
Like, this is what trade period has become, and it's probably pointier this year than it's ever been with some of the names that are looking to move and want to move with considerable sort of time on their contract. I think it leaves a nasty taste in mouth.
Does the AFL have to act?
I think potentially they do. I mean, I think the players have a lot of the whip hand in terms of what their contracts look like and the stability and the safety of a long-term contract that they sign, and they might choose not to want to complete at that football club. So I think the clubs need a little bit more control in that. I think it's gone too much the players' way personally. I don't know whether that's Geelong's opinion.
What have you learned about yourself, Bucks? Obviously, starting with the Pies, the way that you did, you had a massive opportunity with them. Now you've stepped back, going again. What are some of the things in your mind where you're going, OK, I'll do things a little bit differently this time around?
Well, I haven't been in the assistant coaching role for quite a while. 2011 was the last time under Mick. But I think good leaders are lifelong learners, and they want to stretch and challenge themselves, and they want to develop. And I think there's also an element of being a good follower to be a good leader. And I want to learn. And it won't just be from Chris Scott. It'll be from James Kelly. It'll be from James Raleigh. It will be from Paddy Dangerfield, Jeremy Cameron. Different characters that make up a unit that come together to put a team on the park week after week that are going to get the job done, play at their best and get the job done. And Geelong have done that as well as any over a long period of time. So I'm really looking forward to, contributing to that as much as I possibly can. But ever evolving, ever learning, and I don't know exactly what I'm going to find down there, but I'm excited by it.
And that year that I did with Bucks, it was walk in, he said, give it to me straight, it likes to be challenged. So from that perspective, Bucks, you walk in, you take the midfield on, and you've been on radio and telly commenting on Bailey Smith, and we're not really, we haven't seen that from Geelong. They're normally out of sight, out of mind, but you take on a man like that who's got so talent, but then off the field he does what he does. What do you think you've learnt you can bring from an education perspective? Well,
he was the second player to drop me a text today, Bailey Smith, ironically. So, well, not ironically, but I think from what I've noticed with him, he's a big feeler, he's a connector, and he wants to be engaged with the people that he's a part of. So, looking forward to getting to know him better, rather than just the IG post here or there, or the body shot. But that'll be great. I mean, I think I see the game well enough. I think I know teams, and I suppose the spirit and camaraderie that's required to build a team and to put it together. I'll be part of that remit, but it's Scotty's team, it's Scotty's club. So if he needs something, I'll say how high. But from what I gather, that coaching group has a lot of robust conversation and discussion. From what I have witnessed, Geelong are always at the cutting edge. They're always prepared to do something a little bit differently and a little bit against the grain, if it means that they think that it's going to be a better result. I'm really fascinated to see how that process works and being a part of that.
So let's get down to tin tacks. John O's got a spare trundle. You can pull that out down at Geelong.
I'll look after you. You know that.
Yeah,
don't worry. You and I,
how does
Paco.
the week shape up? You going to rent a place at Jan Jack or get on the beach somewhere or
Farm?
Yeah, I've got a 2-word answer for you. or 3. I don't know.
Right.
I'll work that out as it.
Okay.
You know, this has come to pass really quickly.
Yeah.
You know, it'll be sometime sort of late November when I'll get my feet on the ground, probably earlier than that, to have some conversations with key people. Whatever the club needs, you know, I'm ready to go as far as that's concerned. I would probably go keep a place here.
Yep.
Jet and I will probably be stable somewhere in Melbourne, and whether it means that I stay a couple of nights at somewhere down in Geelong, your joint, mate, I'm happy to do that. But yeah, we'll sort of play that by ear.
What about Fox? When you approached Fox and said, "This is the balance. This is where I'm going," tell us about that conversation.
Well, look. You know how much I love this joint. I think from a broadcasting perspective, from a footy perspective, I think that not just the product that we put together, but the culture behind it. I think this is as good an organisation as I reckon you could be a part of. And they needed to think laterally, you know, to be able to consider this as well. So Steve Crawley, Lee Carlson, obviously, McNeil, I think they're the 3 leadership on this side of things that allowed it to happen. So the concept looks great. Now we've got to make it work in practice.
I'm going to love it. I'm going to miss, eating 2 bowls of lollies on the couch watching Friday night footy.
No, I'll still be up for that.
Oh, yeah, right. Okay, good. We're not going to miss that one. But it's a great move, Bucks. You touched on it. It's a great segue to hopefully, a senior job with the Devils. But we're excited to still have you here at Fox Footy, and good luck on that journey.
I've got a spare surfboard for you, mate.
I need to loosen up the hips a little bit if I want to get up.
You'll have some great chats out on the circuit, boys. Jono, well done. Jared, good luck, Nathan. Yes. And tomorrow night, though, it is a deadline day. It's a big one because Sarah Jones, David King, Lee Montagna and Johnny Ralph are going to wrap it up. The coverage from 7 p.m.